get them out of the way. We'll go Boston Celtics. Just so it doesn't seem like I'm biased here. Celtics. I mean, they're NBA champs. I mean, that trade for Drew Holiday just made them an instant finals contender. Now, like you guys were talking about earlier in the show, it's going to be a fun chess match in Milwaukee and for Boston. But really, I think what this is going to boil down to is defensively, can we get back to where the Udoka style defense can come back to this team? Because I think that you guys were talking about before in our other segment where we talked about the Drew Holiday trade. This team really struggled defensively in the latter part. I mean, we saw it rear its ugly head in the playoffs a lot of the times. Lackadaisical on defense, getting bailed out by some crazy offensive plays by Tatum and Brown to that extent, and Derek White for a crazy layup. But at the end of the day, like the defense is what's really going to help us win these games that we should be going back to the NBA Finals. Like it was kind of I would say it was a big collapse that we lost to the Miami Heat. But I want to get your guys' opinion. I have them in NBA champs. I hope you guys agree, but I would love to know what you guys think.
Yeah, this is the best team. This is the best team coming into the season, in my opinion.
The best team. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I feel pretty strongly about that too. Honestly, I just think they really nailed in on what their problems were as a team, right? Like I feel like a lot of the things that would always catch up to them in big games, it seems like they really directly address those things, like the Marcus Smart games where he's taking 18 shots, those aren't happening anymore. Drew Holiday is not going to do that. He was asked to do that with Milwaukee sometimes, and it clearly it was not his strong suit. This isn't the same scenario for him. Like there are going to be very few games where that's the expectation for Drew Holiday, and that's perfect for him at this point in his career. That's what he needs to be. But the one thing about this team, beyond even just the obvious, like their starting five is like unbelievable. Their depth is crazy. Like it's crazy good, right? I mean, even looking at like guys who probably won't see a lot of minutes, but they just have them. Like Delano Banton he's not bad, right? O'Shea Brissett, not bad. You get even down to like Lamar Stevens. I mean, Lamar Stevens was like
Luke Cornett,
arguably the best small forward on Cleveland last season, which isn't saying much because that was just a terrible spot for them. But he's like their ninth guy on Boston. That's super solid. And really, here's my ultimate thing for them. I genuinely think this team is going to be better with Derek White in the starting lineup over Marcus Smart. Like Derek White, say what you will about Marcus Smart, the character of him and what he brought to this team, like their identity. That's all fine and dandy. He's an awesome Boston Celtic. His jersey will hang in the rafters of the Boston Garden at some point. But Derek White right now in his career is a better player than Marcus Smart for multiple reasons. But in general, just having him there to, forge their identity from the get-go of this season, they're going to be a defensive, just like slaughterhouse for a lot of teams. West, East, it really just doesn't matter. It's going to be tough, man. I mean, if specifically if Tatum can play to the defensive level he did in the first half of last season, and just consistently carry that throughout the whole season, man, they're going to be just a blender for a lot of teams. But yeah, I think they're the best team.
I mean, I don't think you're far off. I'd say it's like to be determined between them and the Bucks, but I think talent-wise, you're probably right. They're just so deep. Brad Stevens did an amazing job. Like if I was a Celtics fan, I would love Brad Stevens. I was saying in the group chat, I think he should win Exec of the Year. Either him or Rob Pelinka, depending on how their teams really do. But he signed guys that fit what they're trying to do. They're trying to get back to being a defensive monster. Lamar Stevens, I love that pickup. I think he's like Bruce Brown 2.0. He played some PG for the Cavs too. He can defend pretty much 1 through 5. Like that's a great pickup. Not 1 through 5, but in a sense, like small ball era. They drafted Jordan Walsh, who is an insane defender. Like he really should get some minutes just off of his defense. I can't wait to see it.
If he didn't.
Yeah. So trading Marcus Smart, I was of the I thought that trading Marcus Smart killed that team, honestly, because he was their heart and soul, and just mainly for setting the table defensively, as their heart and soul. But trading for Drew is it pretty much replaces that and upgrades it, honestly. Drew is he's gonna have those guys playing inspired defense all over again, and which they lost by letting go of Udoka.
Mm-hmm.
But having people like Drew, having people like Derek White, who both set they're dogs in the backcourt. If I see Drew Holiday and Derek White as a guard in the NBA, it's going to be a long night because those two don't let up at all. They're both relentless. And just like every other championship team, they have different ways they can play. They can kill you with small ball. They can kill you with shooting. They can kill you by going big-ish with Al Horford and Porzingis. But this team of construction is amazing. Oh my gosh, man. How is he still on the team?
Bernie, he's honestly not. He's not that terrible.
He's not. He's a big body too.
Yeah, have you seen those contests? Come on now.
Yeah, he invented the Cornet contest, dude. That's it. That's
my god,
Cornet contest, the CC, the CC, baby.
Before you go, Bernie, one thing too I would say for this team, and I have to ask a question at the end of this, but I will say, if it wasn't for the fact that the Bucks had a new coach, I would say that the Joe Mazzulla factor of all of this should factor in. But I do think having another season, regular season under his belt by the time they get to the playoffs will obviously be a very good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like if the Bucks had a really confident, like old school coach, and the funny part is you could say that might have been Bud, but I just don't really like Bud as a coach, so I wouldn't say it for him. But if it was anybody but Adrian Griffin, somebody with some experience, I might actually put the Bucks ahead of them just for the sheer coaching factor of it. But they don't. They have a first year coach, so that has to matter for something. But that being said, Bernie, did you see Joe Mazzulla on the JJ Redick podcast? Did you see that quote he had?
No,
I did not.
Oh, that was funny.
That was so uncomfortable. he was talking to JJ, Bernie, and Brad, or not Brad, but Joe Mazzulla was basically like, he's like, yeah, imagine like how our team would have got dragged if we lost to the 8th seed in the playoffs. And JJ's like, sorry, coach, I hate to tell you this, but you did lose to the 8th seed. It was very awkward. It was really funny, but it was like, what universe is this guy living in? Like he really seemed like he did not know that they were the 8th seed and they lost last season. That would be burned into my brain if I lost to them. I would not. That was a little worrisome.
In his fairness, he was saying if we got the 1 seed, because he was so like obsessed with getting the 1 seed, and then they ended up losing it.
True, but then they were like, right there. But still,
exactly. Like it doesn't matter. Yeah,
your point is
you lost to the 8 seeds. That's still bad.
Yeah. It was questionable at best, but
yeah, I mean, this is it. I mean, this is the oven baked process that's been brewing since the time we talked about them drafting Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, when they had the original big four, with both Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving at the time. I think it's come down to this. I mean, this is officially, I mean, we've been known that this is Jason Tatum's team, but this is, I think in order for Jason Tatum to take that next step into that next category of superstar, like can carry a team to an NBA final, like this has to be it. I think the thing that's going to rear its ugly head, and hopefully guys like Drew Holiday, Horford, and many of the other older players on this team can tell him to stop doing the moves. Which moves I'm talking about.
The next head coach of the Boston Celtics, Drew Hanlon.
I mean,
his move.
The thing that I want to see more from this team is just more. I want to see less of those like ISO moves type of deals from Tatum and moving the basketball, looking pretty. I mean, I think we can get him into some pretty good offensive sets. Personally, I would love to see how Tatum would look in an Iverson set where you just run him off an Iverson screen and let's see what he can do. Because I just think that's going to be an easier isolation to go to than instead of 5 out, spread out, and try to make him make a move when the defense will just clog in and they'll just steal the ball like they did, Miami Heat did in the past series. But this team, I think it's ready. I mean, Drew Holiday defensively, like you guys were saying, I mean, we basically traded Smart and Williams for Porzingis and Drew Holiday. And I just think that, like you guys are saying, is a much better cohesive unit, a guy that will steady the ship, a guy that won't necessarily take those crazy shots like you were talking about, Pete, like hero ball style that I believe cost us in game 6 or 5 of the NBA Finals 2 years ago. And so I want to see a little bit more of that from this team, and I think they will. And so Derek White never has to pay for lunch ever again in the city of Boston after that layup that he hit. But I'm excited for this team. I think, like you said, NBA championship, definitely in that category. Now it's about closing the deal. I think Missoula hopefully learned from the mistakes of defensive errors and defensive adjustments, and hopefully, we're ready to go for a championship. I mean, if the script writers are writing the script right now, they know that they're going to try to put the Lakers and the Celtics in there.
Yep.
For banner number 18, because they both have 17 right now. It's a challenge, it's a race to see who can get that banner number 18. So I'm excited. I think if it goes to the NBA Finals and it's those two teams, I think we also got a great series. And also another thing too, before I let you guys talk again, Wayne Gabriel pickup. I love it. He played really well on the Lakers.
Great pickup.
And so I think he's going to be another kind of great pickup for the Celtics as well as a long defender for them.
Yeah,
I will say
one thing.
Oh, sorry, Brad. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I will say one thing with Tatum. I think this team goes as far as he goes. Like, no matter the talent level they have and like the defense they have, if Tatum can't consistently like be a superstar in the playoffs, then I don't think this team will get very far. Like, same thing with Brown too. They don't need him as high as to a degree of as Tatum, but they need Tatum to be able to, one, make his fucking layups. Two, like, don't be so predictable. Get in the post a little bit. Like, don't just take all these Drew Hanlon mid-range weird pull-up shots. Like, you got to diversify your shots.
Yeah.
And then 3, the playmaking. He's got to be the one to set the table for his guys as like the main star player. Like, maybe watch some LeBron tape and do that.
Which I will say he was much better about that last season, in my opinion.
He was.
But he's still, I mean, dude, if anything, just go to the hoop more. Like that, I will never not think that about Tatum. I mean, he could get to the rim like 8 out of 10 times, like with ease. And he just, it's so seldom that he actually just like goes in with a full head of steam and just says, you know what, I'm going to just take this right to the rim right here. He just never does that. It's not not good enough for how big he is.
During the 2022 finals, I was tweeting, I've never seen a 6'9" player finish like they're 5'8". Like, it's incredible.
Yeah. I honestly think they would have won that series if he just he had layups. Even a semblance of the LeBron mentality of like, these guys are too small right now, I'm just going to abuse them down low. They would have won a couple of those games that they lost. Like, I think they would be champions. The last thing I'll say for them, I do think Jaylen Brown's defense needs to be better this season. That was under talked about last season. I honestly think he was not to the level he usually is as a defender. And I don't know what that was. Maybe it was just a weird season in general for him, which it definitely was. The Udoka part of it mattered for sure, but he needs to get back to that, like, just madman on defense, just running around everywhere, doing everything he can. And the last thing for him too, I don't know if you guys saw, there was a clip of him dribbling with his left hand. Did not inspire confidence that he's gotten better with that. So let's hope. I would like to see this man actually do something with that left hand, put some ability of like consistent dribbling down with that. But I don't think that's happening for Jaylen Brown.
Hopefully it's just, just an off clip, like in the flow of the game, he'll actually be able to use his left hand. Hopefully.
Do you know the clip I'm talking about?
Yeah. I don't know why
he's standing with his back to the camera. That whoever posted that did him so dirty. That was that was rude, because he was not doing anything complicated. It was just straight up and down, and he could not do it very well.
Yeah.
All right. Let us know in the comment section down below. Oh,
also,
okay.
Speaking of the Celtics, Woj just tweeted that they signed Peyton Pritchard to a 4-year, $30 million contract.
Well, that's a great
breaking news.
Breaking news. Woj bomb, right? live on the recording.
That is a great, very tradable contract. I like Peyton Pritchard. He should get more minutes for them too, honestly. He was solid.
He should. I don't know how he earned that contract, to be honest, since they don't play him, but the skill is definitely there.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
probably from like
that
2
is.
seasons ago, 2 or 3 seasons ago.
I think they just. It sounds like they just love him too. Like,
Didn't you ask to be traded? He wanted to be traded.
yeah, he did, but it was kind of one of those like, yeah, I'll just kind of keep quiet if you don't do it. You know,
Yeah,
please do it, but I'm not going to complain if you don't.
Yeah.
yeah.
Let us know in the comment section down below. Celtics, championship or bust, let us know in the comment section down below.